Do it.
Huh.
Okay. Hat. Daddy wears a hat. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Morning Scone. Drew is already here, so those who are here just to see Drew, you'll be thrilled to know that he will be knocking this camera over in a mere matter of seconds. Scone, indeed. Scone, indeed. There it was, our first little bump. Val, good morning. Darren, what's up? Good to see y'all this morning. Yep, boom, there it was. Saw it. How about we do that right there? And down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Why do you think that's so funny? Why do you think that's funny? Glad everybody else on here thinks that's funny. Glad everybody else thinks that's funny, bud. Daddy doesn't think that's very funny. Mama probably would think that's funny, actually. Mimi might too, yeah. She'd go, that's how Mimi laughs. All right. So bad news yesterday, y'all, of course, with K'Lavon Chaisson. He's done for the year, torn ACL. Ed Ogeron would not confirm that it was an ACL. Drew, no, buddy, come on. Okay, that game is going to stop. Because Daddy's tired of getting up and down 100 times. That's not funny. That game is going to stop. That game is going to stop. Furry 4. Lily? Lily? Did you say Lily? Quack. All right. Hey, go watch Mickey. Go watch Mickey. You want Robert? You want to see Robert? Come on, Daddy will show you Robert. Okay, Daddy will show you Robert. Damn right, I'll show him Robert. Gets him to stop doing all this crap with the camera. I know y'all think it's funny, but it's annoying, man. Up and down, up and down, up and down. All right, we'll say our good mornings here. Charlie Uvell, good morning. Devin Kelly, good morning. Melanie Waskin, good morning. Alan Lesh, Colby Rosenthal, good morning. Dale Crochet, Michael Clark, Scott Boch, Megan Hurst, good morning. Kyle Corver. Kyle Corver?
Daddy.
Basketball player?
Daddy.
Daddy. What? Kind of whitewash there in that. Chandler, good morning. Good to see everybody. Hey, Boudreaux's Mixes and Spices is watching. It's pretty funny. All right, let's see. Let's find. Okay, we're going to watch Robert, right? He hasn't watched Robert in a few days. Maybe we're turning over a new leaf. Petey, good morning. Kenneth, good morning. Brandon Reed, good morning. All right, there's Drew. He's ready for some Robert. Let's YouTube on this Roku. Let's see if we can find him. Oh, we found him. There's Robert. It's coming. Be patient. It's Robert. What's the matter? It's Robert. Drew, you don't want to see Robert? It's Robert. You don't want to see the intros. I don't know why y'all watch this, man. Okay. There's Robert doing his toss-up. Robert, there's the other lady introducing themselves. Nobody cares. All right. We ready now? All right. Hey, I thought this is what you wanted. Drew. Okay, now they're starting. You may like Drew more than me, Stephanie. I don't blame you. But, Lord, he's fussing this morning. I don't know why. Okay, back to Daddy's show. Now go watch Robert on Wheel. Drew. Oh, man. All right. Like, I literally may start doing this after 9 o'clock when he's not around anymore. I know, like, y'all want to see it, but, like, it's tiring trying to do this. Boy. Drew, buddy. Drew, it's okay. It's okay. All right, let's see, get y'all's questions. Any news on who will replace Chaisson? Who do you see winning the job? If I had to guess, I would go with Andre Anthony. Ray Thornton was playing the other side, backing up Divinity. And I guess both of them are options. You know, a guy who looked really good in spring as well was Trevez Moore, the JUCO kid. Carr. Don't do it. Don't you do it. So I guess like they got guys, right? I mean, they got bodies. They just, you know, and athletic guys. They just don't have anybody that kind of has the potential that Chaisson has. Yeah, but then again, man, like with Chaisson, still just potential. He had 2 sacks last year, and I'm not trying to downplay him, man, because they were super excited about him. Like you could just tell. I mean, it wasn't just like media hype. The coaches and the staff were super psyched about him. And you could see it, man. He's gonna be a handful for anybody to deal with. So that's a blow. It is. Someone else said it changes their prediction on the season. I don't think you can go that far, man. Like realistically, and I know we talked about this when the quarterbacks transferred. You know, like when Vegas is putting together projected win totals and point spreads, like no defensive player is gonna change that. You know, like J.J. Watt being out for the Texans didn't change that for Houston. You know, I remember when Darrelle Revis got injured with the Jets, and everybody thought it was just like the end of the world, and it didn't. Like the only players that are going to change a point spread or a win total or a quarterback, like when the Packers lose Aaron Rodgers, or last year when Florida State loses DeAndre Francois, or like an elite running back, like a super elite running back. I mean, that's like when Dallas didn't have Ezekiel Elliott, like that could do it. But that's it, man. Like an edge rusher isn't going to change a point spread or anything like that. I mean, is there an effect? Absolutely. It's a big blow not having that guy, but it's just to think that's going to affect the win total or projection. I just don't think it's, you know, I just don't think that's true. All right. Let's see. Clayton Wolf, good morning. Andrew Baer, Justin Lagrange, Leroy Blanchard, good morning, everybody. Matt and Drew show, gotta love it. Oh, Lord. What's the McGee injury? So McGee, that's from Val. Thank goodness he didn't tear his knee up, but I guess he sprained it. They didn't say definitively. But if you go back and watch the play, it was actually the play where Burrow got hit and was throwing the ball forward. They rolled it a fumble, scoop and score, and then had to overturn it. That was the play that McGee got injured on, and it was McGee's guy that crushed Burrow. McGee got beat on the play, and he was coming backside, and he got his foot trapped under someone, got pushed over and bent. Ooh, hee. BB. Abilities. Mimi's going to take you to abilities today. Seat? Okay. You riding Papa's truck. Bobby said my kid is fussy too, like extra fussy, must be in the air. Maybe so. The struggle is real this morning. Andrew, with Chaisson out, do you think the scheme will change any? I mean, no, they're still going to go 3-4. But, you know, I think, you know, last year whenever Arden Key was out, you know, they had Chaisson, but Chaisson wasn't key, and he was certainly a liability in the run game last year. So, you know, not being a 3-down defender, it changed how they approached things. And so you saw a lot more of Corey Thompson, and they'd go a lot more nickel and dime where they'd have an extra defensive back on the field. So, I mean, I guess theoretically they could do that. I'm curious to see if you see more of Jacoby Stevens, who they like as a rushing off the edge. So that could be part of the that could be part of the solution. Wyatt, hey Matt, how's life, buddy? Good, man. Life's awesome. Scott, do you think they could fix the O-line problem on the right side? You know, I was interested. So I actually did watch the game again last night. Hey, what is the matter with you this morning, baby? Hey, come see me. Come see me. What's the matter this morning? Do you want to see ducks instead? Do you want to see ducks instead? You don't want Robert? You want ducks? You want ducks? Okay, I will show you the ducks. Good Lord. I'll buy him a flock of ducks. Helps this. God, dog, man. Let me see if I can find your ducks, dude. The kitty cats? Cats or ducks? Ducks? 5 little ducks? All right. Okay. Is that what you wanted? All right. Y'all. So Drew goes through these phases, y'all, where he's obsessed. Those are certain toys, certain things, and then he just wears them out, right? Because he watches that stuff, like those same shows or plays the same show all the time, like obsessive, and then he just gets sick of it. I think he's there with Robert. We might be done with Robert. All right. By the way, Boudreaux's. Y'all go buy some. Bloody Mary mix, margarita mix. You got the hat. Okay, Daddy's hat. Thank you. Daddy wears a hat. Thank you. Scott said, do you think they could fix the O-line problems? So it was interesting, Scott talking to Hat. There's Daddy's hat. Talking to Hester and Matt Flynn and last night and Gordy and guys who have some more wear hat. Daddy wears the hat. There it is. I'll wear the hat if that'll make you happy. And the general consensus was, and even Ed said this at his press conference. Run blocking, they did pretty well. Pass blocking allowed way too many pressures. And I think that's the problem. And I know I'm willing to take, I think we talked about this, I'm willing to take the second half, kind of crumple it up in a ball and throw it in the trash, because they were, after they got up 30, it was like, hey, let's just get home. They just went in the tank. But if you take away Brissett's run, the 50-yarder, they averaged 2.6 yards a carry. So even with that run, it was only 3.8. So they struggled to run the ball too. I mean, Ed yesterday at his press conference gave Cushenberry an A+. So I was like, God, A+, really? So I went back and watched. Man, there were times Gerald Willis was pushing Cushenberry 4 yards into the backfield. I'm like, God, dog, man. He wasn't even playing zero like Drew knows. I don't know, man. I do worry about that line, man. It's too many pressures and hits on Burrow for my liking, man. I'm sure for the coaches too. Trivia, good morning from the soaking wet Pensacola, Florida. It's a beast out there. Hey, man, hope y'all are safe over there, Trivia, with the storm coming up, man. Seriously, anybody who's watching over there in the Gulf area where the storm is coming up, man, y'all be safe. Eddie, what do you think about the new ranking? I think it's embarrassing that they're 15 in the coaches poll. 11 in the AP is a little more respectable, but for me, there were 15 AP voters that had LSU in the top 10, and I don't look at a ranking. You want to sit on my lap? I don't look at a ranking as a projection for the end of the season. I look. What are you doing this morning? You're being so silly this morning. You're fussy, then silly, then fussy, then silly. You're fussy, then silly. You're fussy, then silly, and fussy, then silly. You can be sweet. I don't mind you being sweet with me. Okay. You can be sweet. Stop fussing. Okay. Okay. Gar. You can go Mimi's car later. All right. I don't have a vote. If I had a vote, I would always there would be so much more volatility in my poll every week. I think people look at their poll and they want to be right. So it's like, oh, I had people at Penn State in the top 10. Well, Penn State just at home needed overtime to beat Appalachian State. Like, you should be punished for that. There's no way on any poll anywhere by anybody that Penn State should be ranked higher than LSU right now. Because the only thing you have to go on that, hey, yay, dude, yay, dude. The only thing that you have to go on is 1 week games where Penn State needed overtime to beat Appalachian State and LSU beat the hell out of Miami. And yet people still have Penn State ranked higher than LSU. Like, in a vacuum, if you just knew about what happened on this weekend, like, you'd be insane to put Penn State ahead of LSU. But everyone has their preconceived notions and where they had people in the preseason, and that annoys the hell out of me. Like, I would be content with never having a preseason poll ever. But it causes so much conversation. We're talking about it here, which is why people do it. And don't think that polls, while they don't factor in mathematically anymore like they did in the BCS era, don't think that the committee doesn't look at it. Don't think that that isn't considered by the committee. It absolutely is. All right, Jamie, good morning. Drew, and oh yeah, you too, man. Pumped to see the Saints. Could be a special year. Tigers need a clean injury-free game. I agree on that. One of the good things about playing Southeastern this weekend too is, man, empty the bench. Empty the bench. Like, if guys are nicked up, man, keep them out, and then get ready to go to Auburn. Caught right. Brian Wynn, good morning. Blake Abear, good morning. Jackie, do you think Miles will play this weekend? Yes. I think their plan is to play Miles Brennan this weekend. Joe Cunningham, good morning. Let's see, Brandon Hagan. What did you think about Grant Delpit playing near the line more Sunday night than last year? He was a great cover guy last year. Thought he could have helped on Fulton's side with Greedy having the other side locked down. Hey, Brandon, I tell you what. Listen to AFR today. Ryan Clark is going to be with us on Wednesdays at 3:30 Central. And we're going to talk a ton of DB play. I don't know if y'all know this, but Ryan has his DB precision over at Traction, and there are like college and pro defensive backs from all over the country that come in to train with him. So I'll ask Ryan about that. My thought is I loved it. Find a way to generate pressure, and if Delpit's part of that, that's cool. We've seen LSU do that with nickel and safeties before. If in that role, if it was Dwayne Thomas, if it was Tyrann Mathieu. I'm not saying that Delpit's as dynamic as Tyrann, but I'm saying they've used defensive backs in that role before. So I like it. Dante Jackson came on a lot of corner blitzes last year. I don't mind it at all. And I know, like, what you saw with Fulton is what you saw a couple of years ago with Dante Jackson when he was playing opposite Tre'Davious White. He really had a good year, but teams completed balls on him. And it's because he was targeted 100 times, whereas nobody threw at Tre'Davious White's side. They looked at Trey White and said, no thanks, and they went the other way and threw at Dante. So, of course, when you have that many more targets, you're going to give up more plays. And I think it's going to be the same with Fulton. Fulton made some really nice plays the other day, but they caught a couple balls on him too. So, I think the other thing is, Terrence Alexander made a really nice play near the goal line. It was a third down play. I think it was when they forced their first field goal attempt. Terrence Alexander, or maybe no, it was Delpit by the goal line. Thought he interfered actually, but Terrence Alexander made a nice play, forced a punt. Are any guys coming back from suspension? No, the guys that are suspended, it's all legal issues. So until their legal issues are resolved, they can't come back. So, like, literally until you see the legal issues resolved, none of those guys are coming back. So the short answer right now is no. Sam, I still refuse to believe a Tiger kicker nailed 4 field goals in one game this past weekend. That was CGI, right? Hey, man, you know what, Sam? The funny thing about it is, like, LSU had this string of like a decade of All-American kickers. You had Colt David, you had Josh Jasper, you had Drew Alamont. I mean, you had Colby De La Houssaye. You had these guys that kept setting LSU records for field goal percentage. Like there was a decade of great kickers, and last year was the anomaly, quite honestly. So I'm really hopeful, man, that Cole Tracy keeps it up. That was a great debut, man. Jamie, I can guarantee there's no other Facebook Live program like Morning Scone. If I hear Teletubbies, I'm out. He's never seen Teletubbies, so he gets fixated on certain things. So like, there's a handful of things that he wants, and that's all he wants. That might be like most kids, but he's, Drew's. I mean, he still watches stuff that he's watched when he was, in the NICU. So anyway, Mindy, good morning. Casey, good morning. Mike Touche, good morning. Clayton Wolf, I would have liked to see Burrow run a 2-minute at the end of the half against a quality team. Yeah, you'll probably get the opportunity to see that, but again, you can't fabricate that, and the situation didn't present it. So, she was up 27-3 at half, which I'll take that too. I'd prefer 27-3 at half than needing to run a 2-minute offense. Brian Robert, with K'Lavon out, will Aranda use 3 safety sets with Delpit in the linebacker rush, battle Stevens at safety? Delpit was in the backfield constantly in the game. They definitely like Delpit at the line of scrimmage. Talked about that a little bit ago. No more monkeys jumping on the bed. Ha. Hi. Hi. Ha. See. All right. Don't forget about Todd Harris, too. Todd Harris played. That's one of the things I like, man. They played a ton. Damn, he's knocking the shit out of my guitar. What are you doing? Oh, Lord. I'm going to walk in here one day, there's going to be a hole in my guitar. Okay. So that's what I deal with while you all are watching. All right. Casey Spencer, nice hat. Just do it from Colin K. Actually, it's a signed hat, like the shirt signed. Buddy of mine started that company. It's a digital autograph app company. And Casey, there's not an ounce of my being that gives 2 shits about anybody's political agenda. I like Nike stuff and I'm going to wear it. Jamie Leday, good morning. Brian Perron, good morning. Laurie DuPont, good morning. Andrew said, what did Miami drop to? Miami was 24th, I think, in the... I think they were... I think they essentially flipped with LSU. I think Miami went 24 and 25 in the polls, respectively. Let's see. I'll pull it over here, I'll tell you. Miami's 22 and 21, so they didn't go as far as I thought. 22 in the AP, 21 in the coaches. All right. Get back to y'all's comments. Appreciate y'all for commenting. Let's see. Y'all keep them coming. By the way, hey, y'all, one more thing quickly, if y'all don't mind doing me this solid. For those that have subscribed to the Morning Scone email, if you haven't done it yet, morningscone.com, morningscone.com. It's just a landing page. You go to morningscone.com, you type in your email address, you'll get a daily email from me just with headlines and stories and social media posts, maybe Instagram, Twitter, podcasts, just different stuff that I interact with on the day, content I consume. And so then it customizes a page for you individually based on like what you interact with, what you click on, what you like. Anyway, if y'all are getting that, please send me some feedback. I want to make sure that it's still growing, and I'm, like I said, it's a soft rollout right now. I'm only talking about it here with y'all because I mean y'all are loyal and y'all spend this time with me every day, and I feel like if if it stinks, she'll tell me, and if something needs to be fixed, she'll tell me, and you'll also not like never come back if one of them's bad. So anyway, I appreciate the feedback. If y'all could keep it coming, morningscone.com. All right. Is Cherry a viable candidate for Chaisson spot? How big of a drop-off is Anthony? Ed mentioned Cherry yesterday. I didn't hear anybody mention him during fall camp. His freshman. So maybe. Andre Anthony, I don't think is a big drop-off. Andre Anthony is an athletic freak. He just missed 2016 because of academics, and he missed last year because of injury. I'm really excited to see Andre Anthony. And every time we've seen Andre Anthony in practice or in spring game or whatever, he flashes a lot of athleticism. I mean, yeah, I'm excited about that. And then the other part of it, too, is you never know, like, game scenarios. Like, do you realize Danielle Hunter in 3 years at LSU? That big physical freak show who's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL right now. Danielle Hunter in 3 years had 4.5 total sacks at LSU. I mean, some guys are just more refined rushers at how to technically beat an offensive lineman. So let's see. I mean, Chaisson was flying upfield a lot on Saturday, and he flew past quarterback. I mean, he had the one stunt where he came inside and crushed Rozier. Apparently, everybody's calling him Malik Rozier now. Apparently, he changed his name. But yeah, I am excited to see Andre Anthony because I think he can be really good. Brian said, I know we can't replace K'Lavon with his skill set. Will our pass rush be okay? I think so. I just think that, just like last year. I mean, LSU got 6 sacks from Corey Thompson, 6 from Christian Lockature, 7.5 from Greg Gilmore, 4.5 from Devin White. It just kind of picked their spots, right? I mean, Dave Arand just picked his spots when he had to bring pressure. And it's different when you have one guy that's a threat to beat a man one-on-one or beat a double team and crush the quarterback, which Chaisson is that, but I'm curious to see if Andre Anthony could be that. Sean, good morning. Craig Schillen, good morning. Kurt Hudson, good morning. All right, Blake. Matt, the rankings early in the season are for TV ratings, right? Example, LSU versus Auburn next week. Not just TV ratings, but as a conversation piece and really tradition. I mean, they've just done it forever, even before this many games were televised, or they've done preseason rankings before the BCS or now the playoff. It's the same reason that now the College Football Playoff Committee releases their rankings. It's a TV window and it's a conversation starter around the game, the general game, like the sport of college football. Madison Gilmore, good morning. John Boudreaux, good morning. Sam, I think we have a winner in Cole Tracy. Great to see, no doubt. Relaxed kid, too. That was impressive. Do you think the plays that Fulton gave up was just lack of gameplay? Hester brought up a good point, Stephen. Yesterday I was talking to him. He said, look, you'd be more concerned about that if – and same thing with Kelvin Joseph. If, like, there was a coverage bust. Like, you'd be more concerned if they were out of position. But, Miami has – really good receivers. And there were times, like especially like the 31-yard, the touchdown catch that Kelvin Joseph gave up. Like, he was right there. I mean, it was blanketed coverage. Guy just located the ball, high-pointed, and made a catch. I mean, they got good players too, and their player made a play. So his point was, look, I'd be much more concerned if they were out of position or busted coverage and all that sort of stuff. But they were right there. Just, next time make the play sort of thing. Which is a good point. Brad said I'd have to look at Queen and Chaisson's place as well. Problem with that is if you put Patrick Queen there, probably giving up a lot of size if you put Patrick Queen there. I mean, I'm not saying you can't show different looks, but I'm thinking of like someone that can be a 3-down defender. And your two options at that spot really are Ray Thorne and Andre Anthony. I mean, that's as a 3-down defender, those are your options. Now, if you get like 3rd and 8 and he wants to bring pressure from a different angle, yeah, then you can start talking about those different stunts and different fronts. But as far as like a 3-down defender, I mean, there's a reason that Queen doesn't play a position. Sam, I like the early polls. It's a great chaos meter. It kind of is. Leonard for Heisman. How about that yesterday? Catherine Marie, margarita and Bloody Mary mix. I'm going to have to try this. Yes, you will. This is Boudreaux's, the Bloody Mary mix and the margarita mix. If you live in Baton Rouge, you can get it at a handful of stores. Calandro's, Calvin's, Alexander's, Mid-City Craft Wine and Brew, Canada's down in Homa, or you can order online, boudreauxmix.com, boudreauxmix.com, and they will ship it to you, boudreauxmix.com. Let's see. PD Current, I can't believe the Washington ranking. You see, like, that's the thing that annoys me. Like, I understand that in a vacuum you can't completely ignore the fact that they've been a good team and they have a senior quarterback and all that sort of stuff. But, man, like, they lost. They lost. Say, well, you're going to punish Washington for playing Auburn? I'm not saying you punish Washington for playing Auburn, but how about reward teams that play tough games and won? How about you reward, like, they're in no reality should LSU be ranked behind Washington. Like, in my opinion, I don't understand. Like, in the coaches poll, Washington is 11 and LSU's 15. In the AP, Washington is 9 and LSU's 11. You say, well, they lost a really good Auburn team. Well, LSU went to a neutral site and beat the dog mess out of what you had as a top 10 team. I mean, it's... And look, again, my point is, it's not to say that at the end of the year, Washington isn't going to end up being a really good team, or Miami was a fraud, or whatever. Like, but that's irrelevant. The point is, like, you have a sample size of one game, something that happened on the field, and people are being beholden to their whatever their preseason ranking was. Oh, well, I had them 3. I can't drop them too far, so I'm going to make this argument why they're really better than that. It's like, I don't care what your argument is. My argument is we saw a game for 60 minutes, and they lost. And Jake Browning got crushed, and Washington's offensive line couldn't hold Auburn. On the flip side, we saw LSU beat the mess out of Miami for 60 minutes. Like, this isn't a discussion. Anyway, it annoys me. It's one of the many things that annoys me about my profession. Brian Robert, what do you think about D. Anderson? Got more playing time than I thought. He did fumble, but it was targeting that caused it. Yeah, hold on to the ball, but he did get crushed, man. That fumble, I watched it again last night. Like, your boy went, like, old school spearing, right? Crown of helmet right into his cheek, like right into his ear hole. But he's got to hold on to it. But he did have a couple of catches, man. And D. Anderson is a massive target and super athletic, and I'd love to see them get him going. But really, it's clear Justin Jefferson is the guy that Burrow trusts, and he's the best technical receiver they have. And I think after him, it's Jamar Chase. Terrace Alexander only had the one catch for like 2 yards, and he dropped the ball. I mean, athletically, I think he's going to be really good. He's got some catching up to do. That's all. Let's see. Rashad, bad loss. What's up, Matt? What's up, Rashad? Keith Scalco, good morning, Matt. What are your thoughts on how soon LSU took their foot off the gas pedal in the third quarter? A lot of people have different opinions about this. Like, it wasn't until they got up 30. When they went up 30-3 with like 2 or 3 minutes left in the third, and that was the point where they really just disengaged. They only threw 2 passes from that point on. And I'm okay with it. You're up 30. I mean, the only way you let that team back in the game at that point is by turning the ball over, giving them a short field, quick score. I mean, you'd love to keep up the intensity for 60 minutes and the defensive intensity, and I get it. And had they continued to move the ball offensively and continue to play, that's fine too. But if they want to just like run the ball and get the hell on the plane and go home, I'm good with that too. Like, I get it. I mean, there's a lot. You know, not every coach is going to go out and score 77 like Ohio State wanted to do. It's just different philosophies, and I'm okay with not doing it. David, those that are saying Washington's ranking is wrong and Auburn was not that good, that game could have gone either way. I don't understand that at all. I haven't heard anybody say that, and I don't understand that at all. I mean, Auburn at the line of scrimmage dominated that game. They just sucked in the red zone. I mean, they kicked like 4 field goals inside the 10. They didn't, but had they converted touchdowns instead of field goals, on their first 3 possessions, that would have been 21-0 in a heartbeat. But Auburn dominated the flow and tempo of that game for the first half. Anyway, I don't know. Washington came back and scored late and got ahead. I mean, I know what happened, and good for them. It was a good game, good team. I'm not saying Washington isn't a good team, but like Washington's offensive line and run game just got annihilated by Auburn. I mean, Auburn's defensive front was so good. Like, I know y'all are sick of hearing me talk about this, but that for me is the biggest concern a week from Saturday going to Auburn is LSU's offensive line against that defensive front 7, because they were awesome against Washington. The 2 biggest takeaways I had from Saturday: Auburn's defensive line, Alabama's secondary. Because Alabama lost everybody in their secondary. You know, I mean, Minka Fitzpatrick, they lost everybody. And Deontay Thompson was awesome. They got Savion Smith out there. I mean, I know that's a bad word around here, but like, those 2 units to me were like, that was the biggest takeaway for me on Saturday. Andrew said, let's see, 7 freshmen played against Miami. You expect more next game. Well, sure. I mean, absolutely. Against Southeastern, for sure. Especially because with the new redshirt rule, you can play them in 4 games. I expect you're going to see freshmen in all of those games. Any stud freshmen we didn't see? Maybe the receivers. You know, maybe you'll see Kenan Jones and Jeray Jenkins. I want to see like Dare Rosenthal. You know, some of those defensive front 7 players that they're super high on. I like to see some of those guys get out there. Charlie said, I agree, Anthony's a freak athletically. He is, man. Jeremy would like to see more fullback run. Also play action to the tight end. It's funny, Jeremy, like that's what the fullback runs. That's what people have been sick of seeing for a decade, man. People want more spread. But it's nice to know you have it. You know, you got Torrey Carter if you want to go to that set. Arthur, do you think Nichols will beat Tulane Saturday? It would be a total guess, Arthur, but my guess is no. Not that they're not good enough to do so. I think it's sometimes difficult when you come off a win. Like look at Troy last year. Troy beat LSU a week later. They lost to South Alabama like 19-7 in just a hideous game. So I think sometimes it's tough to come off the emotion of a win like that. But that's a total guess because I know nothing about either team other than like Chase Forkade, a quarterback, and Nichols has been pretty solid. Craig, when the smoke clears, those wins will surface with the committee. David, if LSU beats Auburn, there are no worries where they stand. That's true. And it's understand like that conversation is just in a vacuum. It's not so much that I think it's impactful or it's going to impact the season or things won't play out. It's really just when something like that happens with the rankings, it's just an opportunity for me to use that as a talking point to stump for change in the polling system. That's all. It's like I know that that's not a big deal, and I know that you've got 11 more games and then conference championship games and all that stuff. So it's not the point. I'm not saying like these rankings are unfair and LSU is going to get screwed. It's just another way of saying, you see, here's another example of why this sucks. It's like anytime anything happens with the NCAA, it's not it's not necessarily like that you want to stump so much for like. With the transfer rule, the Kansas State kid last year we talked about, when Bill Snyder blocked him from transferring from 35 schools, blocked him from transferring everywhere. It's not that I care so deeply about that kid from Kansas State. I don't know him. I don't know his situation, whatever. But it was an opportunity to say, hey, look at this. You need to change the rule, right? So you look at this polling thing. It's not that I'm so pissed off that LSU isn't ranked where they should be. It's like look how stupid this is. We need to change the system. That's more the opportunity there. Let's see, the play Bro set broke 50 yards is blocked perfectly. That play can be filmed in a coach's clinic, Matt. Rashad, is true, but it's also Burrow changed the play at the line. He saw the safety coming up. They had zero high. Saw the safety coming up, or single high. They saw the safety coming up, changed it from right to left, and then Brissett didn't get touched. I mean, it was. I mean, I could have run through that hole. Now, I couldn't have run 50 yards for the touchdown, but I could have gotten through the hole. Charlie said the offensive line couldn't block Willis. True, that was a problem. And they're going to face linemen that are much better than Gerald Willis, too. Let's get to a couple more here. Blake said, Matt, a lot of talk about LSU's offense has been spread out like Oregon said, like Ogeron said. Are you shocked by that? Seemed like Ogeron stayed out of the offense for the most part. Yeah, I think so. I think he trusts Ensminger, and you're going to see him do that.
Daddy.
Hey, bud, welcome back.
Daddy.
Daddy, I am your daddy. That's me. Daddy. Grant Delp was outstanding. Only issue, he had an easy pick and dropped it. It's true. There's another guy who dropped a pick. Who else dropped one? Hey, dude. Hi.
Abba.
Abba. Or are you saying airport? Is that airport? Car? Okay, you can look out the window. Look at him. He's hanging up on the blinds. True. Crazy kiddo. What you doing? What you doing over there? He's stuck in the blinds. All right, let's see. Get a few more. Then I gotta go shower and get to work, y'all. Let's see. LSU both short up. Auburn LSU short up line. I agree with that, Sam. Like, as good as Auburn's defensive front was, their offensive line and their running game needs work. Auburn lost 4 senior starters on the offensive line, and like there's no question that's a liability. The difference is they have a dynamic playmaker at quarterback, which I don't think LSU does yet, or at least hasn't shown to be yet. Like, I think if Auburn wanted to, they could throw the ball 50 times a game and have a really good offense. Stidham's good. Let's see. Matt, I'd watch a whole game with a fullback gaining 4 yards a try. That's fine, Michael. You can do that. It's also not feasible. Like, you're not going to give the ball to the fullback every single play. You've got to be versatile. But I think you understand that. And you're very much in the minority because people want fun offense, and that's not fun. Do you think LSU Auburn will be a close game? Probably, even though the margin probably won't show it. I think Auburn's like a 9.5-point favorite right now, and that probably sounds about right. You know, even if it's a 3-4 point game and then Auburn scores late to win by 11, 10-11, something like that. I could see that happening, I could see a 24-14, type deal. Jonathan Miller, what do you think of Hurts transferring to Florida next year? Sure, Mullen would love his skill set. Interesting, but remember, they also recruited Emory Jones. And let's see what Franks does this year. I mean, Franks will be a 4th-year player next year, so it's worth mentioning that, he could grow and get better. I mean, Mullen won with Chris Relf. I'll keep saying that. Dan Mullen won 10 games with Chris Relf. Like, he can win with Felipe Franks. Let's see. What do you think the chances that Miles Brennan plays the second half Southeastern so he gets more game time reps? Pretty crucial in case Burr goes down. I think he absolutely plays this week against Southeastern. Hey, Matt, thoughts on how Jacoby Stevens and Kelvin Joseph played Sunday? For me, the thing with Stevens, I think that was most impressive is there was just when he went in the game, there was no drop off. And the one play that really Joseph was involved in was the touchdown he gave up late, that 31-yarder. So I think if you're a defensive back and they're not calling your name, the old saying, it's similar to an offensive lineman, and they're not calling your name, it's a good thing. So I think they were fine. I mean, I think LSU's defense as a whole was fine. I think the 2 touchdowns that Miami scored in the 4th quarter and those yardage was garbage because LSU was ready to get home. So for 3 quarters they were dominant. I mean, I don't think depth in the secondary is an issue. So I hope that answers it. Let's see. Rami said, I asked too late last time. Your take on LSU taking a knee with 1:40 left on the clock in the first half against Miami when we could use that 2-minute offense experience playing it too safe. I need to go back and just get back and specifically watch what was unfolding. But they were up 27-3. They were up 24 points. and what, I don't remember the down and distance. Like if it was just the first, my chart of the game, but it's at my office. I mean, hell, I could look it up real quick and answer your question. I mean, I guess this is kind of your answer. I don't think it was that impactful, obviously, since I don't even remember it or thinking anything of it at the time. But you know what? I'll tell you this too, man. In 2016, when LSU played Ole Miss, that was Orgeron's interim year. 2016, they were beating the crap out of Ole Miss. That was the game when Fournette ran for like 280 or whatever it was. And at the end of the first half, there's like a minute left, and LSU had the ball at their own 3, inside the 5. And they were up, like, I think they were up 2 scores, but it felt overwhelming. And LSU had the ball inside their own 5. And instead of just, taking it to the half and getting the ball started, whatever, they decided to chuck it up. And Etling got crushed, fumbled, scoop, defensive score, and all of a sudden you have a ball game. I think they were tied. It was tied, or it was maybe a 1-point game. And I asked Orgeron about that after the game, and he's like, we're always going to be aggressive. And you would have thought in that moment he would have learned his lesson, but then they did the same thing last year against Troy. Like the exact same situation, did the same thing. And it's like, and you had the same result. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't. It wasn't that game. You know what it was? It was Notre Dame. And I'm sorry, it was Louisville. It was in the bowl game. Same exact scenario. They're inside their 10, late in the first half. They've dominated Lamar Jackson. They're winning the game, but haven't scored a ton. And instead of just sitting on it, taking it to the half, they decide to go run the offense and throw the ball, and Etling throws a pick on the sideline. Remember, he was trying to throw it away, but he didn't get it all the way out of bounds, and he got picked on the sideline like at the 30, and Louisville got points. It was the same exact scenario that unfolded. And I crushed him for not being smart. It's like in those situations, like understand the flow and the tempo of the game and where you are and what could hurt you. So it's an unnecessary risk. So, I mean, I guess look up 27-3. And you're dominating the game, why give an opportunistic defense a chance to be opportunistic, Let's see. Anyway, hope that answers it for you. All right, let's see. About the 8:17. I got to get going, y'all. Burrow was outstanding. His throws were good, except one. Wide receivers dropped too many passes. The pass to Chase was outstanding. Moxie in command of the huddle reminds me of Matt Flynn. He was good. Flynn was impressed by him, too. Talked about it last night. One thing is for certain, kids were prepared. It wasn't perfect, but certainly something to hang a hat on and build. I agree. Yeah, that's true. So all y'all are saying 27-3, LSU gets ball start the second half. Miami's out of timeouts. Why run a 2-minute offense with a big lead? I get it. I get that for sure. All right, that's going to do it for us, y'all. We're out of comments and questions there. So let's wrap this up. Remember, if you haven't yet, please, morningscone.com. Go subscribe again. Like you'll never get pop-ups. You'll never get spam. Your email address won't go anywhere. It's basically just a way for us to connect. So morningscone.com. Go to the website. It's just a landing page. Type in your email every day, 6 a.m. You'll get an email from me, from Matt@morningscone.com. You can reply to that email, and it comes to my inbox. I'd love your feedback on it. So morningscone.com. And, of course, Boudreaux's Bloody Mary Mix, the Margarita Mix. Y'all check it out. As I remind you all the time, I told you I was going to get another one. We crushed a bottle of this at the party a few Sundays ago. This remedies cold winter days, leftover enchiladas, housework, and boring parties. So if you have any of that going on, try the Margarita Mix from Boudreaux's. All right, meantime, y'all have a great night. We'll see you, or a great day. It's not nighttime, it's day. Y'all be safe if y'all are down on the coast with storm coming, and we will see y'all tomorrow for Morning Scone.